there is a subtle difference between living and truly experiencing your life. Many people move through their days efficiently, completing tasks, solving problems, and meeting expectations. From the outside, everything appears organized and productive, but internally, there can be a growing sense that something meaningful is missing. This feeling does not mean that your life is failing. In many cases, it appears precisely when your life seems stable. You have responsibilities, routines, and goals that keep you moving forward. Yet the deeper question slowly begins to emerge. Am I moving in the direction that truly reflects who I am? For a long time, most people operate on momentum. They follow the path that seemed logical at earlier stages of life. They make decisions based on practicality, approval, or opportunity. These choices are not necessarily wrong, but they are often made before a person fully understands themselves. As awareness grows, you begin noticing that external progress does not always create internal satisfaction. Achieving a goal may bring a brief sense of accomplishment, but the feeling fades quickly if the goal was never connected to your deeper values. This is when self-reflection becomes important. Instead of only asking what you want to accomplish next, you begin asking why those accomplishments matter to you. What kind of life do they create? What kind of person do they allow you to become? Self-discovery is not about rejecting everything you have built. It is about understanding the motivations behind your choices. When those motivations become clear, you gain the ability to align your actions with what genuinely matters to you. This alignment is what transforms a life that is simply functional into a life that feels intentional. It shifts your focus from constant activity to meaningful direction. One of the most common misunderstandings in personal growth is the belief that being busy automatically means you are progressing. Modern life rewards activity. The more tasks you complete, the more productive you appear. The more responsibilities you handle, the more successful you seem. However, activity and progress are not the same thing. It is possible to move constantly while remaining in the same place internally. You can achieve goals, meet deadlines, and improve external circumstances while still feeling uncertain about the deeper direction of your life. Motion keeps you occupied. Progress moves you towards something meaningful. The challenge is that motion is often easier to measure. You can see the results of completed work, financial growth, or professional advancement. These outcomes provide immediate feedback that your efforts are producing something tangible. Progress, on the other hand, is more subtle. It involves internal development, such as clarity, self-awareness, emotional maturity, and alignment with your values. These forms of growth are not always visible to others, but they determine whether your achievements will actually feel fulfilling. Without internal progress, external accomplishments may feel temporary. Each success quickly leads to another target, because the underlying sense of direction remains unclear. This is why reflection is essential. Instead of only asking what you have accomplished recently, you begin asking whether your actions are bringing you closer to the kind of life you truly want to experience. When motion and progress align, your efforts begin to feel different. Your work becomes more purposeful. Your decisions feel more deliberate, and your energy is invested in directions that support both external success and internal growth. Your environment has a powerful influence on the way you think, behave, and evaluate your own potential. The people you interact with, the conversations you hear, and the expectations surrounding you all contribute to shaping your perception of what is normal and what is possible. Many beliefs that guide your decisions were formed simply because they were repeated frequently in your environment. If you constantly hear that certain opportunities are unrealistic, you may begin to dismiss them without exploring them. If success is defined in a narrow way, you may pursue goals that match that definition, even if they do not resonate with you personally. The influence of environment is not always negative. Supportive surroundings can inspire growth, encourage curiosity, and introduce new perspectives that expand your vision of what you are capable of achieving. The important step in self-discovery is becoming aware of how much your environment shapes your thinking. Once you recognize this influence, You gain the ability to evaluate whether the ideas surrounding you truly reflect your values. This awareness does not mean rejecting the people or places that have been part of your life. Instead, it means consciously deciding which influences you want to keep and which ones you want to question. Sometimes growth requires seeking environments that challenge you intellectually, creatively, or emotionally. Being around people who think differently or pursue ambitious goals can expand your understanding of what is possible. Over time, the environments you choose begin reinforcing the direction you want to move toward. Instead of limiting your perspective, they become sources of inspiration and development. Self-awareness is often described as simply knowing yourself, but its impact goes much deeper than that. When you become aware of your thoughts, emotions, and motivations, you gain the ability to influence the way you respond to situations. Without awareness, many behaviors operate automatically. A stressful event triggers frustration, which triggers a reaction. A moment of doubt triggers avoidance. These patterns repeat so consistently that they begin to feel inevitable. Self-awareness interrupts this automatic process. When you notice your reactions as they happen, you create a small space between the event and your response. In that space, you have the opportunity to choose how you want to respond, instead of simply reacting. This ability may seem small, but it has a powerful effect over time. Each conscious response reinforces the idea that your behavior is not controlled entirely by circumstances. You have influence over how you interpret and handle experiences. Awareness also helps you recognize the patterns that appear repeatedly in your life. You may notice that certain types of situations consistently create stress, or that certain habits consistently drain your energy. Once these patterns become visible, they are no longer invisible forces controlling your decisions. They become information that you can evaluate and adjust. Through this process, your life gradually becomes less reactive and more intentional. You begin shaping your behavior with greater clarity, which leads to decisions that better reflect your values and long-term goals. Growth often requires changing parts of your life that once felt permanent. This can involve adjusting goals, redefining priorities, or exploring new directions that were previously outside your comfort zone. The difficulty is that change creates uncertainty. Even when the current situation feels limiting, it is familiar. The mind naturally prefers what it already understands over what it has never experienced before. This is why many people remain in situations that no longer align with their aspirations. The fear of uncertainty feels stronger than the desire for improvement. Developing the courage to evolve does not mean eliminating fear completely. Fear is a natural response to the unknown. Courage means moving forward, even when fear is present. Small steps are often the most effective way to begin. Trying a new skill, having an honest conversation, or exploring an opportunity that interests you can gradually expand your confidence. Each time you step slightly beyond your comfort zone, you gain evidence that change is manageable. What once felt intimidating becomes more familiar, and your sense of possibility begins to expand. The ultimate purpose of self-discovery is not simply understanding yourself better. It is using that understanding to shape the life you are building. When you become aware of your values, motivations, and strengths, your decisions begin reflecting that knowledge. Instead of following paths that others expect from you, you begin choosing directions that resonate with your personal vision. This process often involves refining your priorities. You may start investing more time in activities that energize you and less time in those that drain your enthusiasm. You may choose relationships that encourage growth rather than those based only on familiarity. Creating a life that reflects your true direction does not require sudden or dramatic change. In many cases, it involves gradual adjustments that accumulate over time. A different way of managing your time, a different focus in your career, a different level of attention to your personal well-being. Each small shift contributes to building a life that feels more aligned with who you are becoming. As this alignment grows, your sense of purpose becomes clearer. You are no longer moving through life, simply responding to circumstances. Instead, you are actively participating in the process of shaping your future. And that is where self-discovery reaches its most meaningful stage. It becomes more than reflection. It becomes a continuous practice of living with awareness, making choices intentionally, and steadily building a life that genuinely represents who you are.